Chapter 1. Down the Rabbit Hole. Alice sits by her sister on the river bank. She has nothing to do. She is very tired of sitting there. She looks at her sister's book. The book has no pictures or conversations. Alice thinks, what is the use of a book without pictures or conversations? Alice thinks in her mind. It is a hot day. She feels very sleepy and not smart. She thinks about making a daisy chain. She wonders if it is worth the trouble to stand up and pick up the daisies. Suddenly, a white rabbit with pink eyes runs close to her. This is not very strange. Alice does not think it is very strange to hear the rabbit say, oh dear, I'll be late." She thinks about this later. She thinks she should have wondered about this. But at the time, it seems normal. Then the rabbit takes a watch out of its pocket. It looks at the watch. Then it hurries away. Alice jumps to her feet. She never sees a rabbit with a pocket before. She never sees a rabbit with a watch before. She is very curious. She runs after the rabbit across the field. She sees it go down a large rabbit hole under the edge. Alice goes down the hole after the rabbit. She does not think about how she will get out again. The rabbit hole goes straight like a tunnel for some way. Then it goes down suddenly. It goes down so suddenly that Alice has no time to think about stopping. She finds herself falling down a very deep well. The well is very deep, or Alice falls very slowly. She has a lot of time to look around her as she falls. She wonders what will happen next. First, she tries to look down. She wants to see what she's coming to. But it is too dark to see anything. Then she looks at the side of the well. She sees that they have cupboards and bookshelves. She sees maps and pictures on pegs. She takes a jar from one of the shelves as she passes. The jar says orange marmalade on it. But it is empty. Alice does not want to drop the jar. She is afraid it might kill somebody underneath. So she puts it into one of the cupboards as she falls past it. Alice thinks to herself, after a fall like this, I will not be afraid to fall downstairs. Everyone at home will think I am so brave. I will not say anything about it, even if I fall from the top of the house. This is probably true. Down, down, down. The fall does not seem to end. Alice says out loud, I wonder how many miles I have fallen by now. She says, I must be near the center of the earth. Let me think. That will be 4,000 miles down, I think. Alice learns these things in school. This is not a good time to show off what she knows. No one is here to listen to her, but it is good practice to say it. Yes, that is about the right distance. But then I wonder what latitude or longitude I am at. Alice does not know what latitude or longitude is, but she thinks they are nice big words to say. Soon she begins again. She says, I wonder if I will fall right through the earth. How funny it will be to come out where people walk with their heads pointing down. The antipathies, I think. She is happy no one is listening. This does not sound like the right word, but I will have to ask them what the name of the country is. Please, ma'am, is it New Zealand or Australia? She tries to courtesy as she speaks. Imagine courtesying while falling through the air. Do you think you can do it? And what an ignorant little girl she will think I am for asking. No, it is not good to ask. Maybe I will see the name written somewhere. Down, down, down. There is nothing else to do. So Alice soon begins talking again. Dina will miss me very much tonight. Dina is the cat. I hope they remember her milk at tea time. Dina, my dear, I wish you were down here with me. There are no mice in the air, I think. But you might catch a bat. This is very like a mouse, you know. But do cats eat bats? Alice starts to get sleepy. She says to herself in a dreamy way, do cats eat bats? Do cats eat bats? And sometimes, do bats eat cats? She cannot answer either question, so it does not matter which way she says it. She feels that she's falling asleep. She begins to dream that she's walking with Dina. She says to Dina very seriously, now, Dina, tell me the truth. Did you ever eat a bat? Then, suddenly, thump, thump, she lands on a pile of sticks and dry leaves. The fall is over. Alice is not hurt at all. She jumps up right away. She looks up, but it is dark above. In front of her is another passage. She sees the white rabbit running down it. There is no time to lose. Alice runs like the wind. She hears the rabbit say as it turns a corner, oh, my ears and whiskers, how late it is getting! She is close behind it when she turns the corner, but now she cannot see the rabbit. She finds herself in a long, low hall. The hall has lights hanging from the roof. There are doors all around the hall, but they are all locked. Alice goes all the way down one side and up the other. She tries every door. Then she walks sadly down the middle. She wonders how she will ever get out again. Suddenly, she comes to a little three-legged table. It is all made of glass. On the table, it's a tiny golden key. Alice thinks it might open one of the doors of the hall, but the locks are too big or the key is too small. It does not open any of them. However, the second time she walks around, she sees a low curtain she did not notice before. Behind it is a little door about 15 inches high. She tries the little golden key in the lock. It fits. Alice opens the door. It leads into a small passage. The passage is not much bigger than a rat hole. She kneels down and looks along the passage. She sees the loveliest garden she ever saw. She wants very much to get out of the dark hall. She wants to walk among the bright flowers and cool fountains. But she cannot even get her head through the doorway. Even if my head would go through, thinks poor Alice, it would not be much use without my shoulders. Oh, how I wish I could close up like a telescope. I think I could if I only knew how to begin. Many strange things happened to Alice lately. So she begins to think that very few things are really impossible. There seems to be no use in waiting by the little door. So she goes back to the table. She hopes she might find another key on it, or at least a book of rules for shutting people up like telescopes. This time she finds a little bottle on it. The bottle was not there before. Around the neck of the bottle is a paper label. It says, "Drink me," in big letters. It is easy to say, "Drink me," but Alice is a wise little girl. She's not going to do that quickly. "No, I will look first," she says. "I will see if it says poison on it." She reads many nice little stories about children who get burned or eaten by wild animals or other unpleasant things. These things happen because they do not remember simple rules, rules their friends teach them. Like a red hot poker will burn you if you hold it too long. And if you cut your finger very deeply with a knife, it usually bleeds. Alice never forgets that if you drink from a bottle marked poison, it will almost certainly make you sick sooner or later. But this bottle is not marked poison, so Alice decides to taste it. She finds it very nice. It tastes like cherry tart, custard, pineapple, roast turkey, toffee, and hot buttered toast, all mixed together. She drinks it all very quickly. What a strange feeling, says Alice. I must be closing up like a telescope. And so she is. She is now only 10 inches high. Her face becomes happy. She thinks she is now the right size to go through the little door into that lovely garden. First, she waits for a few minutes. She wants to see if she will shrink any more. She feels a little nervous about this. It might end, Alice says to herself. In my going out altogether like a candle, I wonder what I would be like then. She tries to imagine what the flame of the candle looks like after the candle is blown out. She cannot remember ever seeing such a thing. After a while, nothing more happens. She decides to go into the garden right away. But poor Alice, when she gets to the door, she remembers she forgets the little golden key. She goes back to the table for it, but now she cannot reach it. She can see it clearly through the glass. She tries her best to climb up one of the legs of the table, but it is too slippery. When she gets very tired from trying, the poor little thing sits down and cries. Come, there is no use in crying like that, Alice says to herself. She often gives herself very good advice, but she very rarely follows it. Sometimes she scolds herself so severely that she brings tears to her eyes. Once she remembers trying to hit her own ears. She does things for cheating in a game of croquet she plays against herself. The curious child likes very much to pretend to be two people. But it is no use now, thinks poor Alice, to pretend to be two people. There is hardly enough of me left to make one respectable person. Soon her eye falls on a little glass box. It is lying under the table. She opens it. She finds in it a very small cake. On the cake, the words "Eat me" are beautifully marked in currants. Well, I will eat it, says Alice. If it makes me grow larger, I can reach the key, and if it makes me grow smaller, I can creep under the door, so I will get into the garden either way. I do not care which happens. She eats a little bite. She says anxiously to herself, which way, which way? She holds her hand on top of her head to feel which way it is growing. She is quite surprised to find that she stays the same size. To be sure, this usually happens when one eats cake. But Alice is so used to be expecting only unusual things to happen that it seems quite dull and stupid for life to go on in the common way. So she begins to work, and very soon she finishes the cake.